Let's look at how to create an MLG montage using After Effects. So I'm just using After Effects, not Premiere Pro for this video. I'm going to File, New Project, and I'm going to immediately save it. So File, Save As, and I'm just going to call it MLG. And I'm going to double click in this project window. That'll bring up this import file window, and I'm going to import my footage, just my standard bear, butterfly and lake clips, and also, just to begin with, to start off our MLG, we'll import our intro for Optic Gaming. So that's imported now. We want to create a new composition. So go to Composition, New Composition. You can also, just cancelling that, you can also create a composition from a clip, and I can drag this bear clip onto here, which will create a new composition. But the composition will take the source settings of my source clip. So if I click on my bear over here, I see some information about my file. That's 480 by 360, and the frames per second, etc. there. And when you do that, the default length of the composition will be the clip length. So this clip was roughly 12 seconds. By dragging it onto the timeline, it created a composition of the same length. But we don't want to do that. On some occasions, that'll work. That'll be fine. We're just going to delete that, and we'll just create a new composition. Composition, new composition. And we'll call this one MLG. And we're going to pick one of these presets. So we'll take the 720, the HD 720 preset, and click OK now. We've got our MLG composition. We'll just delete the other one, which was created from the bear clip. And the very first thing we're going to drag onto our composition is the intro for Optic Gaming. So compositions are very much like sequences in Premiere Pro. To drag this clip onto our composition, you can just drag it down here. This creates a layer, and each composition is made up of multiple layers. So it works a bit different to Premiere Pro, which uses the concept of sequences and tracks. In After Effects, we have layers on the left here and a composition. We've added our intro, and now let's add our bear clips. There are two ways of adding a clip to the composition. You can drag your clip down here, which will create a new layer, and the layer will begin at the start of our composition. The other way is to drag our bear clip onto our composition at the point that we want. And you see a playhead appears. It's going to indicate where we're going to drop it. So we'll drop it there, which is roughly the end of the intro. And do the same for lake. Drag it at the end. And also butterfly at the end of the lake. So we've got our intro and then our three clips. And you can change the order of these layers, how they're laid, and that can affect things such as the use of transparency. So I'll just drag that one up. So we've got our intro, bear, lake, butterfly. So let's add some effects now, MLG effects. There's our intro, it plays through. One important thing to note with these layers is that you can turn the sound on and off. So our bear, lake and butterfly all have sound associated with them, but we're not going to want those sounds, those nature sounds. We do want the sound for the intro, and for the rest of the clips we're going to add our own music soundtrack. So let's go to our bear clip first. And the first thing you'll notice is, wow, you've got all these squares here. What do they mean? Well, they're for transparency. You can actually turn that off by clicking on your transparency grid, which is just here. Okay, and it just makes it black. So remember, you can use transparency grid when you're looking at opacity and also looking at green screening. We'll just leave it on for now, but we need to make this clip fill our composition, the size of our composition. So to do that, just right click and go to transform and then fit to comp. And there's a shortcut key, Control Alt F. You may want to remember that one. So it's just resized our clip, and we'll have to do it for our lake as well. You can do Control Alt F, and again for our butterfly, let's bring that up, Control Alt F. And notice with the butterfly, I clicked on the butterfly clip, it actually opened this layer window. If I just want to go back to our composition window, I can just click on these. So you can open up each of these layers in their own layer window. And that's quite handy because your composition can get very busy, particularly with MLG montages. So starting off with the bear, I'm just going to drag a whole bunch of MLG stuff onto this bear clip right at the start. So I'll just close my bear layer to begin with and just have the composition window open. So let's add stuff. Just double click again. I've created this MLG assets folder. You can get access to all of these things here. So what do we want? We want Mountain Dew, boy dancing, deal with their glasses, explosion, fedoras, firing, actually we might leave that one out, hit marker spam, quick scoping, Gangnam Style, MLG frog. We might leave off some of these other things, Sonic, Snoop Dogg, dancing. We'll take it Lemonati and Wally as well. Okay, so you've got most of your essentials there. We don't have any Doritos though. We'll have to find some of those. And let's just import. I'm just going to drop these on. Now I'm not going to animate them or anything like that. And remember, there's two ways to drop these. You can drop it and it'll create a new layer over here, or you can drop it on the timeline, which is what you want to do in most cases. That also creates a new layer, but the clip is dropped where you want on the timeline. So I'll just drop that. And it's quite a long clip, that one. So you can shorten that. You do want to resize that. So I'm just using the mouse to resize, just to do it quickly. Now with this Mountain Dew, you probably want to animate it so it moves across the screen, does crazy stuff. And you've seen in an earlier video how you can do that, going to transform and keyframing the position. I'll just leave it down there for now. What else we have? Boy dancing. Okay. Now let's drag again. Boy dancing. Now we want to get rid of that white, of course. So I'm just going to move it, clip. And let's see about getting rid of that white. There are a number of keying effects here. Some of these are deprecated, which means you shouldn't be using them anymore, although they probably work fine, and they might be simpler in some cases. I find it sometimes easier just to use this linear color key, that one, and get that one. So we've got our boy dancing, and let's look at some other things we can add to the project. We've got deal with it. I think that's quite a large one, so I'll drag that onto timeline. Okay, it's not too bad. Again, you can shrink it down. Maybe have the bear wearing the glasses. Again, you have to shrink it down. And when the bear is moving, you would have these glasses following the bear. So you would have to keyframe the movement of the bear. After Effects does have a motion tracking feature, but that's quite an advanced topic. So explosion, yeah, we can add an explosion, might as well. Let's add that. And we're going to have to, we'll use key light. I always use key light if you can. It's got more features and it's approved. Okay, so the explosion, if you play it through, wow, okay, pretty crazy. Fedora, let's drag the fedora and make that smaller. You're getting the idea. Of course, you don't have to have all of these, and there's probably other MLG stuff that you can think of. Next thing, okay, let's drop our hit marker spam again, and we'll key light that. So make sure your hit marker spam is selected, and then drop key light. Select this screen color, and wow, that's cool. And more. Quick scope, gotta have the quick scope. So drag that one again. And then, what else have we got here? Gangnam Style, we can add that. Let's add the last two, MLG Frog. And also our Illuminati. Key light our Illuminati. And let's click back on our frog. Linear color key. Yep, that's working. Let's go back to Gangnam Style, and we don't want all of Gangnam Style, we just want part of it. So I'll just find the right one, that one. I'll just double click on it to open it here. But yes, we don't want all of it. So we're just going to find the part or parts that we want. And I'm going to use the in and out markers. So similar to how you would with the source monitor. Mark in, and I'll just get a little bit. Should be enough. And mark out. And now I can drag the clip onto the timeline like I would any other. But it's only going to get the parts I marked the in and out points for. Okay, so that's there. Let's key light out the Gangnam Style dude. So I'm just going to double click on the clip and then drag across my key light. I'm dragging across on the layer, separate layer window now. Then I click my eyedropper again, select the green, and he's transparent now. We also, just going back to the composition, we do want to make him a lot smaller. I'll just drag him out of the way and shrink him down a bit as well. It looks like we've still got the green screen from the quick scope, so I'll go to that. Just click on that one. Again, I'm going to double click just so I can have a clear view of this layer. Drag the key light again and eyedropper again, select the green. So let's go back to our composition now, and it's looking pretty good now. There's no more green screening left. We will want to move our frog. Just going to move him down the bottom here and also shrink him a bit. Actually, you can go there if you want. And what else? We'll put the Illuminati in the top right. Shrink that as well. It's always watching from a distance. And that's pretty much it. We do have to look at our sound now. We've got our object intro is playing some sound. We're also going to get sound from this explosion, this green marker span, scoping. We can turn off the frog. I don't think that's got any sound. The Gangnam Style. Yes, we'll turn off the Gangnam Style and we'll turn off Illuminati. That doesn't have any sound anyway. But we'll go back to our project and we'll add some audio. Let's have a look at Sad Violin and import that one. So you can drag MP3 as you would any other video footage or image. That's going to play the sound. We do want the sound to start after our intro. It's getting pretty crazy with all these layers. So I'm just having a guess where our intro ends. I think that's our intro's down here. I can, of course, just move this layer down. That's a good idea. Move the layer down to where I have my intro, where I can see a bit better when one starts and the other ends. You can see that we're not perfectly lined up here, but that doesn't matter. Okay, let's run a preview, but we're not going to do a normal preview because the normal preview, you won't get sound ordinarily. We have to do a RAM preview, but when you do a RAM preview, it doesn't happen straight away. You'll see shortly that it plays through your composition and it's sort of buffering. It's loading things into RAM so it can then do the preview. I'm going to click the RAM preview button and then skip ahead to the actual preview. Clicking on RAM preview. And as you can see here, you can see this line this yellow line. So this composition is being loaded into memory. I'm not going to wait for it to complete. I'm just going to pause the video and come back once it's ready.